so she can help my baby.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining this class. I really, really, really appreciate. Thank you guys for taking your time to join this class. Um, Without any further ado, I would like us to start this class. So I will start by introducing myself. My name is Ruth. I'm going to be your tutor for today for social media management. Please, can we all hear me? If you can hear me, can I get thumbs up or a reaction? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, okay. So I'm going to um share my screen right now so that we can start. And sorry, before then, can please each of us introduce ourselves? Can we unmute our mic to just say our names and introduce ourselves to every other person listening? We can start from Dolapo. Can you unmute your mic and introduce yourself to the rest of the class?
Hi everyone, my name is Orisha Shantolapo Dokas. I am a graduate of Agricultural Resource Economics in FUTA. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Okay, so I'm a graduate of Agricultural Resource Economics
Yes.
FUTA, and I am passionate about tech, and I would love to grow and know more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. We're very much welcome, Dolapo. Can we go to the next person, which is right, if I'm correct?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name
Good
is
afternoon.
Aju, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we hear from Eniola?
Hi, good afternoon. I
Good
am
afternoon.
Enyola, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining. Can we hear from Omokendi?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Omokende, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for joining. Can we hear from Chioma?
Hi everyone, my name is Choma and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Can we hear from Kemi? Is Kemi in school? Can we hear from her? Okay. When she comes on, we're going to hear from her. Can we hear from Miracle? Can we hear from Miracle? Okay. Can we go to Monica? Can we go to Monica?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My
Good
name is
afternoon.
Monica Abu, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate you joining. Okay, can we hear from Weena? Can we hear from Weena? Okay. Um, can we hear from Salvation Emmanuel? If you would please. Sorry, before Salvation Emmanuel speaks, am I missing anybody? Some names are not showing up here. So they are showing unknown user. Please, can you introduce yourself if I am missing you before we go to the rest of the team and they can introduce themselves? Is Savior in the house? Savior. Okay, so I would want the rest of the team to introduce themselves. So um I'm going to start with Modupe if she's in the house still so that we can, you know, so that we can hear from her. She's part of our team.
Hello, good afternoon, Ruth. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is
Okay.
Badi Where I'm the project manager for Tech School Global. And I'm very glad to be in this class with everybody today. And I'll be learning alongside with you. And I'll be taking notes of maybe if you have any queries or inquiries, I'll be in this call with you. So kindly use the chat box while the tutor teach us together. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you very much for that wonderful explanation. Please, can we please hear from Salvation Emmanuel also as part of my tutor for today? Is Salvation Emmanuel on call? Okay, so can we please also hear from Tech School himself if he's on call? Okay, so not to waste any more of our time, for some that have not introduced themselves, they're going to do that along the way. So my name is Nofumo. I'm going to be your tutor for social media management today. Um, as a Tech School Global tutor, I want you to be open-minded and I want you to also have it at the back of your mind that you are going to learn a lot from this class. I want it to be an interactive session, not just when the tutor is speaking. If you have any question, anything that I'm missing that I didn't get along the way, then the project manager can bring my attention to it by telling me that there's somebody asking a question just in case I'm not paying attention to some of the things. So I'm going to start by just going to go right ahead to share my screen so that we can start immediately. The a 4 weeks course is going to discussion is going to span for just 4 weeks. So I want us to, you know, sit tight and relax and really just enjoy ourselves in general. So give me a minute. So for this course overview, we are going to be learning for the courses. So it's going to span for 2 weeks. So during the 2 weeks duration, that is today, then tomorrow, excuse me, then upper week, Friday and Saturday. So for week 1, we're going to be learning the foundation and strategy. Week 2, we are going to be learning content and advertising. Week 3, we're going to we're also going to be learning final project and certifications, and also practical. Now, I want to be sure that you can see my screen. Can we all see the screen? If you can see the screen, please can you reply with a thumbs up? Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now, we're going to start with the course objective, which is professional understanding, how to master social media management principles and professional workflow. Now, where we are going to also be learning, about platform selections, audience research, content creation, content calendar, meta ad mastery. All of these things, I'm sure that we've heard about social media management a lot of the time. I'm sure that some of us even have an idea of what social media management is. We have been trying to sometimes we even say that, yes, I've been able to do this, I've been able to do that, but the ability to be able to use that as a tool for yourself and to also make a living out of it is very, 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 very important. Now, for week one is the foundation and strategy, which is building the strategic foundation for social media success. Learn the fundamentals of platform selection, branding, and audience research. Now let's get right into it, which is introduction to social media management, understanding the role and ecosystem. What is social media management? So before I give an explanation for myself, I would like somebody to please tell me what they understand by social media management. Just a rough sketch of something that you feel at the back of your mind that you understand by social media management. Anyone?
Okay,
Anyone?
let's
Okay,
start with
thank
that.
you very much.
When we say social media management, from my understanding, I think is there some sort of all the processes needed or put in place to ensure that the social media space of a person or an organization is well organized or managed.
That is beautiful. Thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciate it. Sorry, please, what's your name? We didn't get your name.
I'm Solomon. Hey, Solomon.
Okay, thank you very much, Solomon. I was beginning to ask if it's just all females that's in this class, but thank God we have a male finally. He just said what it was. He just gave a very, a layman understanding to what it is for someone that would not have an idea of what social media management is. He just gave a very beautiful explanation. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Solomon. Thank you. So social media management, now what's a social media manager? A social media manager is responsible for planning, implementing, and monitoring a company's social media strategy to increase brand awareness, improve marketing efforts, and drive sales. Now, this is, people think being a social media manager is easy. It is not easy at all. A social media manager, it's not easy to be a social media manager because you have to make sure that everything comes together in place to be able to make sure you drive awareness, brand awareness, you improve marketing efforts, and you drive sales, meaning that you are on the clock 247. Anything that is not working in that particular brand, we have to go back to being is they would have to revert to ask the social media manager what the issue is. Because at the end of the day, every single brand or every single person, it's important that you have a social media presence. Now, having a social media presence, you have to make sure that you have an enlightened social media manager that is able to drive your product and your brand awareness to where you want it to reach. Because everybody at the end of the day wants to make sales and want to also have a very strong, social media presence. That's the use of a social media manager. Now, strategic planning, that's content calendars and campaigns. Being a social media manager You have to have strategic plannings, content calendars, and campaign. It has to be drafted out beforehand. It has to be drafted out beforehand. A lot of the time when you want to apply for jobs or all of that, especially as a social media manager, they always ask a question of where is your portfolio? Can we get a portfolio? Can we get something that you've done beforehand? You have to be, you have to be strong enough to show your portfolio and give an idea of what you have done before, give an insight of what you have done before. Content creation. Now that's visuals, copy, and visuals, copy, and videos also. Everybody is on the internet space. Everybody is on the internet space. If in as much as you don't even have a portfolio, you should have a little understanding of what you can do. Now, I'm just going to digress a little bit. Now, I'm going to use a lip gloss brand as an example. Now, when you want to create a video for a lip gloss brand, you know that the main brand there is the lip gloss itself. It's the lip gloss itself. Now, it is not just for just females, but also for males. Now, you have to be able to create a visual, a reel that merges both the lip gloss that is meant for both men and for women, so that it's not just subjected to one gender alone. Because I think we think that lip gloss is just for one gender alone, but we have to be able to merge it to be able to understand that it's both for the male and for the female. So creating a video and a content regarding a lip gloss brand is where it is important. It's where it's important that you show your creativity as a social media manager, because as a social media manager, you have to be able to think outside the box. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get ideas or you can't get help from other brands. You can't get ideas from other videos you'll be seeing online, but the ability to also, there should be a uniqueness to yours, because copy and paste doesn't show that you're a social media manager. Copy and paste doesn't show you. You have to be creative enough to show that in as much as you got this idea from someone, you were creative in your own. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're following, if you're still following, please can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a reaction? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, we're also going to go to community management, analytics, reporting. These are the things we're going to be seeing throughout the class. Community management, analytics and reporting, there's engagement and responses, and performative tracking. Now, the key responsibilities, that's the brand voice development, the audience growth, the paid campaigns, crisis management. Role in digital marketing. Social media management sits at the intersection of brand communication, customer service, and digital marketing. It bridges the gap between business objective and audience engagement, turning followers into customers and customers into advocates. Now, we know that every individual on the internet space has low attention span, right? I'm sure that we all know that about now. Even we ourselves, when we're looking at some videos that are not really exciting or intriguing, that doesn't even catch our attention, or before we know, we swiped. Like, we are just swiping. We don't even want to know what the rest of the video is about, because the first 3 seconds of the video didn't catch our attention. So why would I listen to the rest of it? Because we already feel like if the first 3 seconds or the first 5 seconds they catch my attention, I don't see any reason why I should be here. So, with being a social media management and creating content and be able to align all of this and put it together, you have to be able to understand that in this time and age that we are in, a lot of us have low attention span, myself inclusive. There are some videos I will see that wouldn't catch my attention and I will just swipe. It's just a normal human thinking. Now, before I continue, please, is there any question on what I've said so far? Is there anything that somebody would like to, give an idea of what I've said so far? You can just use the chat to you know. Or you can unmute your mic and just, okay, Eniola, do you have a question or do you have something that I've said so far? If you have a question on what I've said so far, you can just unmute your mic and just ask. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
So so I managed 2 pages, like that was them before, and
Yeah.
so I felt like, oh, does social media management, does it requires you to, like, okay, edit design for your client, or you just have to make, I don't know if you
Okay. I understand. You were asking, being a social media manager, whether it requires you to be able to design and
understand.
okay. Now, there was something that when I was having a discussion with somebody, which is that is why, as being a social media manager, you have to be able to know your worth. You have to know that your role is being a social media manager. That is why, with the simple explanation I've you know I've given, that's why, as a social media manager, your role is to have strategic planning, creation, content creation, community management, analytics, and reporting. It's not bad that you are able to. It's not bad for you to be able to, design. But if you are managing 2 pages, the owners of the brand should also have a graphics designer at the same time. If they don't have a graphics designer and you yourself are able to design, then they should also pay you the same. They should pay you extra for being a graphics designer, because your role as a social media manager is not to design flyers, it's not to create design for flyers, it's not to create, all of those design. It is not, because you have a strict rule. That is why I think that's why people miss it. Actually, there's a thin line between being a social media manager, a graphic design, and a marketing strategist. There's just a thin line. There is just a thin line. So you should not be designing except there was a prior conversation that you are going to be designing for them. If there is no prior conversation that you are going to be designing for them, so the designs is not in your hands. Do you understand me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other question, please? You can just unmute your mic and ask me, then we go right ahead and keep it moving.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Miracle.
What is the difference between a content strategist and a social media manager?
Sorry, can you come again?
What is the difference between a content strategist and a social media manager?
Okay. Now she asked what's the difference between a content strategist and a social media manager. Does anybody have an idea before I give an answer? Does anybody want to say anything? Does anybody have an idea to the answer before I give an answer? You can just omit your mic and share your thoughts. I want it to be a very interactive class whereby we can all learn. Okay. So since nobody is saying anything, let me just give an answer. I think from the explanation I've given, the social media manager is responsible for planning, implementing, monitoring a company's social media strategy to increase brand awareness, improve marketing efforts, and drive sales. That is who a social media manager is. A content strategist, on the other side, is strictly for content. you are not managing any brand page. You are not the one that is going to manage a brand page. You are strictly to create content, strategic content that aligns with the brand goal. You are not going to be the one to be looking at the analytics and reporting. So it's very much different. But a lot of people merge social media manager and content strategist together because they feel like, okay, since they can be social media manager, can also be a content strategist. But it's not even as easy as you think. Right? It's not even as easy as you think. A content strategy is strictly based on content. You are to create and bring out strategic content that aligns with the brand goals. I used a lip care brand as an example. Now, a content strategist is going to just create and draft out, that's the word I've been looking for, draft out content that aligns with the company's goal, which is a lip gloss. They don't manage the pages. They're just responsible for strictly the content. They're just strictly responsible for the content. Is that clear? Is that clear? Or is that clear? Are you following?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you
Very
very,
much.
very much. Any other question? I'm going to take the last question right now before we move on to the next one.
All right. Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. So from the initial slide that you shared that some of the before the responsibility of social media manager, you talked about strategic planning, content creation, community management, and analytics. Now, right there, you mentioned content creation. So, and right now, you are also saying the social media manager is also responsible for content strategy. But I just wanted to mention
I'm
this
hearing you.
content creation. You already mentioned content creation as part of what a social media manager would do.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry, but along the line, I couldn't really hear your question. What's the question you're asking?
Okay, I said you just give emphasis to content strategy as
Yeah.
regard to the other question. While
Yeah.
initially, your initial slide, you mentioned strategic planning as some of the what the social media manager will do. Strategic planning, content creation, community management. Already, content creation is there. So, if
Yeah.
as a social media manager, I'm also creating content, doesn't that really make me a content strategist?
It does. I didn't say it doesn't. I didn't say it does. It doesn't actually. It does. It does make you also a content strategist. But with content strategist, it has to be a very strategic content. Now, with being a social media manager, I can, that is why just like content creations was there, visuals, copy, and videos. I can see a particular content that I would like to create with my brand, just like an idea. Now, an idea that I've seen in a lip gloss brand, and I would like to also implement it in the particular brand that I'm using at that point. It's an idea that I've copied already. But with content strategies, it has to be there has to be a uniqueness to it. It doesn't have to be like this is the way I saw it, and this is the way I've put it in the same brand. They have to be a uniqueness to it. Content strategist is not somebody that's going to be managing the pages. A lot of persons don't want to do that. And that is okay. They are just very okay with being a content strategist. They don't want to be in the social media space. But people merge them together. So it is okay for you to be a social media manager and a content strategist, because people feel like when you are saying I'm a content strategist but not a social media manager, it's just like as if people are going to, in today's world, people are going to choose a social media manager and content creator over a content strategist. If we are being very realistic, it's not even as if you can't see a work of content strategist. You will. It's just like, for example, a graphics designer saying I'm a graphics designer but not a UI UX designer. People would choose someone that knows UI UX and graphics design, not just only graphics design. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to go right into the next one, which is Organic versus paid strategy. Two approaches, one goal, which is growth. Now, organic strategy, which is the strength, builds authentic relationships, long-term brand equity, cost-effective time investment, higher trust and credibility. Timeline, 3 to 6 months to see significant results. The cost, time and resources only. The paid strategy, the strength is immediate reach and visibility, precise audience targeting, scalable and measurable, quick testing and optimization. The timeline is immediate results once live. The cost is ad spend plus management fees. Now, I'm sure from this little explanation now we'll have understood the difference between the organic strategy and the pay strategy. But can somebody, just a quick one, if you really just a quick one, want to give us a little explanation of what the difference between the organic and the paid strategy? Just unmute your mic and just introduce yourself, because I think we have a lot of people that have joined, so you can just unmute your mic, introduce yourself, then just say it so that we can keep moving. Anybody? Okay, so from the explanation that has been given, the organic strategy is just it's just not the pay strategy, if you understood. The organic strategy is just not the paid strategy. The organic strategy doesn't use money. The paid strategy uses money. It's just very simple term. It's just as explanatory as possible. Now, for the organic strategy, the strength is you have to build authentic relationships. You have to also have long-term brand equity. There's also, time investment. There's higher trust and credibility. Now, for the organic strategy, they have to be, content back to back to back to back. They have to be social media management of replying to the followers, responding. You have to check the analytics. You have to check how well your work is going. That's for the organic strategy. You have to be looking at it. You have to make sure that you're following back to back. It's not going to look like a robot. It's going to feel very real that there's somebody right behind that is doing the work. It's not going to feel like a robot. That's why I said it's not the paid strategy. It's just going to feel very much human, if you understand what I'm explaining here. So the timeline for you to be able to see results, for the organic strategy, after much consistency with being a social media manager, you have to understand that you have to be consistent. There are days where you're going to feel very overwhelmed, frustrated. It's especially when they expect results as soon as possible. Especially when they expect results as soon as possible. Especially especially if you're building a brand from scratch, when you're just starting, you have to be patient enough to know that Rome wasn't built in a day. It took a lot of time. So the fact that you are consistent, you continue to show up. So it's important that consistency matters with being a social media manager. Consistency matters. So the time frame for you to be able to see, or the timeline for you to be able to see results, is 3 to 6 months to see significant results. Now, significant results is what was said. It's not even as if there are not days where you are not going to see result, but to see authentic and significant results is going to take 3 to 6 months, and that is okay. That is very okay. There are some that you can see results quite early. You can see results in like 2 months. You can see results in 3 months, and that is just okay. That is just okay, because you know that you are being consistent and you're putting in the work, right? Okay, so for the cost of this, it's going to be time and resource only. That's why I kept on mentioning consistency. You have to give it your time and resources. You have to give it your time. You have to there was something that somebody said, for a brand to grow, you have to treat it like your own. Now, if you are managing a particular company's brand or any brand that you are managing as a social media manager, you have to be able to treat that brand as your own. The way you would want results when you are going on with your brand, the way you would want results if you were managing your brand, that is how you're advised to treat that company's brand. Because once there's good results and once there's authentic and good consistency and communication with the brand, it's easier for them to refer you to other brands, or it's easier for you to work with other brands because you have the results to show for it that you have been you have you have been there and you are working very well towards the company's brand. It's easier for you to do that. But once there is no results to show that, okay, this, people would not be able to trust you. Once there's no result to show for it, people would not be able to trust you. So your time and resources are going to go into it. Like, you have to be so creative to think out of the box. They are going to go into it. Now, for the pay strategy, the strength is immediate reach and visibility. Now, for the pay strategies, we're talking about like ads. When you pay for the ads for either of the platforms, you know that people, they are going to see visibility immediately. Like, it's going to be very, very immediate because you have scheduled the post, you have done the content. Your own is to pay and wait for the ad to do its role, and you are going to see immediate you're going to see immediate results. Now, also precise audience targeting. Yes. Now, that particular content that you've created or that particular ad that you're about to send out is going to target the exact audience you're looking for. Because when you go to the page where you want to pay for these ads, you're going to see your target audience, where who your target audience are, the duration that you want this ad to go for, the duration that you want this ad to move for, how long you want the ad to last, if it's for a week, if it's for a month, if it's for 2 weeks, if it's for 3 days, for 5 days, you understand? So all of those information are going to be there, and it is left to you as social media manager to be able to put these informations online so that you are able to target and further follow up the ad. Scalable and measurable. Yes, that is one again. You are going to be able to measure how well your ad has gone, how well your content has gone, your paid ad has gone. They are going to be able to manage it properly. You are going to also be able to manage you are going to also be seeing how much scalable your content has been or can be. So also quick testing and optimization. Yes, this also goes very much for the paid ad. You are going to know, the quick testing and the optimization of the ad. It goes very, 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 very much also to it. Now, the timeline for this, or the time frame for this, is immediate results once live. Yes, immediate result back to back to back to back once live. Unlike the organic one that is going to take some time for people to know because it has not gotten to your target audience. It has not gotten to your target audience. But as for the pay strategy, it is right to your target audience. It's targeted to your target audience. So you are going to see immediate results immediately. Now, the cost for this, that is the ad spend plus the management fee, that is literally money. You have to spend money for this. As social media manager, it's important that you are able to do the two. It's important you are able to do it too, and it's also important to know when to do the two. You can't just do the two at the same time. You have to know when to do the two, and it's important that you do the two for it to be able to, further bring the brand, for the brand to have good awareness, for you to have results and also drive sales. Because at the end of the day, every brand wants brand awareness, and they also want to drive sales to their business. Okay, so are we following? Can I get a reaction if we're still following? Thank you, Saiki. Thank you so much. So before we move to, thank you so much. I really appreciate. Before we move to Next one, anybody has any question? Anybody has anything that they would like to say with regards to the organic and the paid strategy? Anybody has anything they want to say with regards to that? Okay, so I'll take it from my end that we understood what the organic and the paid strategy is. So I'm going to go straight to the social media marketing funnel. That is the complete customer journey. This is what every client wants, every brand owner wants. So that is the social media marketing funnel. Now, awareness, which is the first one, attracts attention, the content type, educational posts, trends, viral content, brand stories. The metrics is for reach, impressions, and followers. Yes, this goes back to the saying of with the brand you are working with, you have to know the brand you are working with. You have to be aware of their vision and their mission for the brand, and you have to be able to work with that. So you cannot just now let me just digress a little bit. I used to work with um I used to work with a law firm as a social media manager. Now, with being in a law firm, you have to be very careful of what you post because they are lawyers. There are some days where I would want to post some things and they're like, the constitution says here, so, and so. Because of that, we can't post that. Because of that, we cannot post this particular content that you have. So with every content that was being created or with every, post that was being made, I have to always revert to my superiors because we couldn't just post anything because they are lawyers and they have a constitution that is backing a lot of the things that they do. They have a constitution that is backing a lot of the things that they do. So it wasn't something that I have to do off my head because they are lawyers and there's a constitution. So at in a way, I would most definitely admit that yes, it was a bit frustrating at some point. Yeah, 100% because I couldn't work off my own creative. I have to make sure that every single post, every single content is being approved by the superior. So sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. It's just like days whereby you sat down to draft out very good content that you feel is good. And when you ask your superior, they are like, nah, this is just trash. We cannot post this because of this constitution that is against it. So it was a bit hectic, but we have to find our way around it to create content that was very much okay with it. So we had to use YouTube for some of the content. We had to use YouTube for some of the content so that it's a video that became educative and informative. The kind of content that we had to rely on at the end of the day was a video that ended up being educative and informative. Now, I would still go back to the lip care brand because that's the one I've been starting with. Now, the lip care brand, you know that we are trying to create awareness because it's a lip care proof. Come to the realization that yes, this brand that I'm working with is a lip care brand. This brand that I'm managing is a lip care brand. Now, what kind of content do I want to post or do I want to put out today? Sometimes the content that you might be feeling to put out today can be an entertaining content. Sometimes it can be educational. It can be inspiring. It can be informative. It can be even fun because why? You are being creative and you are working with a lot of things because nobody wants a content that is too serious all the time. Nobody wants a content that is too serious all the time. So that's why I said with the law hectic, it was quite difficult for me to, work with just my creative because there was just one constitution or the other that was just backing it. So sometimes having a little fun with your content it's very okay. Let people see your content and laugh about it, but that does not still drive away the information you are trying to pass in that particular content. It doesn't drive. Now, if the content you want to use for the lip care brand is about chapped lips, about having a chapped lip, because I used to have a colleague. This guy's lips is just too chapped. I don't know. His lips is just extremely chapped. And at some point, I became the guy's advocate to be using lip gloss, because personally for me as a female, I use lip gloss I use lip gloss a lot. My lips are always glossed. So every single time I saw him, I always have a spare lip gloss in my bag, and I always give to him to apply, because if his lip gloss could literally tear somebody's hand, it would. It will. If his lips could tear somebody's hand, it will, because it was that chapped, and I really didn't understand why it was walking around with chapped lips. So you could create a content around how funny that content would be, but still yet informing and giving reasons why having a chapped lips doesn't suit anyone. So that kind of content can perform. You can have an informative or an educative content another day, informing the use of having a lip care set, the use of having a lip gloss. You can also have an educative or a health content about the ingredients that are being used to create the content, to create lip gloss. It can just be posted. It can just be a day of, do you know that so lip gloss contains this, contains that. These are the products they use to make it, so that the clients and the customers are aware of what they are putting on their lips. They are aware of what they are putting in there, and you are being very transparent. Having transparency and honesty in your content that you do is going to save you a lot of stress, so that one day one customer will not come and say, I used your product and this is what happens. It's not as if it cannot, but you put it out there that this, and everybody is different. Everybody is different. Some product might not work for them, and if they come back and tell you that this particular lip gloss I used broke them out, then you are able to further assess why this would break somebody out. Maybe there's a particular ingredient that is not good. There was a particular time I used a particular lip gloss that was really, it was just really stinging. It kept on stinging on my lips continuously. So, I reverted to the brand owner, and I was like, this thing just always stings at one point or the other. And she said, oh, yes, that there's a particular oil she used for the gloss, and that is why it is stinging. Then I just told her if it's possible for us to just minimize it, because it's not a lip plumper, it's a lip gloss. So why should my lip gloss be stinging? It's not, except it was clearly stated that it was a lip plumper. Okay, so consideration, which is building trust. The content type is how to guide, case studies, and comparison. The metrics here is engagement, saves, and website visits. Yes, I think I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. Now, consideration, which is also building trust and transparency. It's very, very important that you build trust and transparency between yourself, the brand owner, and your customers, or even you yourself as a brand owner. It's very okay. It's very important that you do that. I have a female on my WhatsApp. She's a perfume vendor, and she creates content for our brand. And the content she creates for our brand, you could see that so much intentionality and consideration went into the content that she creates and she posts. You see a lot of people would always revert to her and tell her, this content is so educated, this content you did your work, you did your big one with this, like you ate with your content. And she did. Actually, her content are always very clean, crisp, very straight to the point. Like the first 5 seconds or the first 3 seconds always have my attention, except probably that day I'm not online. And I found that from TikTok. You understand? So she has put in the work, she has done her research, she has done her assignments to be able to come back and say, okay, this is the kind of content that I want to do. It's not easy to create content, so let me not even lie to you, because you have to sit down for hours or days and rack your brain seriously. There are sometimes that as a content, as a social media manager, you might have mind block. Yes, it happens. Like, you are very much human. You might have mind block, but you have to be able to sit down and think of what can you do. That's why it's very important that you have your content calendar. Just as the informations are flowing, just be writing them down in your notepad or on your phone or somewhere, so that the day you had mind block, you can just go back and see that, oh, I have this particular calendar, and this is what I'm going to be following. The moment, out of everything you've written, once you have seen it, you are going to be able to remember, because you've written that something relating to that particular content you want to post. So you have to, and also with content with social media management, before I even forget, the kind of content also that you put out there is also important. Now, there's some days that you want to do storytelling. Yes, there's some content that involves storytelling. Your content should actually involve storytelling. Your content should involve storytelling, because a lot of us like gist. We like amebo. So it should involve storytelling, because it's going to take the particular client or the particular customer or or the person that is viewing it to the page, because of the storytelling involved. So your content should also involve storytelling. Now, the next one is conversion, which is drive action. The content type is offers, testimonials, demos, and CTAs. The metrics here is conversion, sales, and sign up. Yeah, so for for your social media marketing funnel, you have to be able to convert that particular viewer to as your follower or as your customer. You have to be able to convert that particular viewer as your customer. The person, in fact, it even starts from following you, following the brand. Once the person is able to click on the brand and be following it, and also the person starts commenting and liking every video, you know that you are very close to turning that particular person to your customer. You know that you are very close. You are very close to doing that. Now, retention builds loyalty. Content type is support, community exclusive content. The metrics here is retention, LTV, and referrals. Now, here sometimes can be very tricky, because you are not the customer. You understand? You are not the customer. You are not tying rope on their head. They are the ones that are going to choose to stay or not. But the reason why they are going to be able to stay or not is left to you. Is totally left to you. How you keep your content coming. That's why I said from the beginning that consistency is very important. How you keep your content coming, how you keep it moving, is going to make the person want to keep following you, or the person is going to at one point just not follow you. So sometimes when you leave that brand dormant for, let's say, 2 weeks, if you go back to the following, if you go back to the analytics or how well it has been doing, you see that it has dropped. That's because the consistency you had, the drive you had, is not showing. If you leave that brand dormant for 2 weeks, just go back and check. You see that it has reduced, it has gone down. That's because there's not been consistency, and there's not been content like for 2 weeks. It's not easy, but that's why I said humans have low attention span. Do you understand? Now, for the funnel, which is logic, wider at top, awareness, narrow at bottom, that's conversion. Not everyone converts, but nurturing increases rate. Yes, not everybody converts, but when you keep nurturing them, it increases the rate. Yes, it is very, 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 very true. You have to keep them wanting, you have to keep them thirsty. You have to keep them thirsty. They should always want to look forward to your content. They should always want to look forward to your content. Now, continuous cycle. Retention feeds. Retention feeds back into awareness through referrals and testimony, creating a sustainable gain, creating a sustainable growth group. Now, you see, when I said that particular perfume vendor always post, even with vendors, either any vendor at all, you see that they always post their testimony. That is because they are trying to retain the customers that they have and get new customers. And by them having new customers, they have to be able to build trust. You have to be able to build trust enough for a new person to want to buy from you, because nobody wants to spend their money on something that is not going to work for them. Because people are very quick to drag a company. They are very quick to drag other people that I use this particular thing, but it didn't work for me. People are very quick to do that. So you have to be very careful. Now, stage specific content. Each stage requires different content types and metrics. Match your content to where customers are in their journey. Exactly. Very true. You have to match your content to where customers are in their journey. That's why I'm saying that it can be so. Not everybody wants a serious content all the time. Not everybody wants it. Some people want. That's why I said even storytelling is very important. Some people want content that they can relate to. Not everybody wants one very strong-minded, strong content. It can be really exhausting sometimes, because life is hard on its own, and you are coming to come and add one very seriousness to it. Please, like, it's not easy at all. You know, do we understand? Do we understand? Please, if we understand, can I get a thumbs up? If we're following, can I get a thumbs up? If we have any questions, thank you so much. Thank you. If we have any questions, you can just unmute your mic. If you have something you like to say, you like to add, you can just unmute your mic and go right at it. All ears. Okay. Okay, so I guess we understand very well about the social media marketing funnel. So we're going to go right into the major social media platforms, which is the Facebook, the Insta. I'm sure we are aware of the social media platforms that we have currently. Now, for the Facebook is best for community building, B2C, local businesses, and ads. Yes, Facebook is very good for community business, community building, and local businesses and ads. It's very, 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 very good for that actually. It's just that a lot of people don't use Facebook because they feel like it has a lot of scam in it already. It has a lot of scam in it already. So people have. It's not as if Facebook is not still good, but personally for me, I just feel like Facebook has at some point lost its authenticity because of people just feel like Facebook has a lot of scam in it. The content for Facebook that is very good for Facebook is post, stories, reels, lives, and group. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, the kind of content that Facebook is good with and working with is no stories, reels, live, and groups also. Once you are very much active on your Facebook and you always post stories back to back to back to back, the system automatically just always puts your stories up front because they know that you are very consistent with posting your stories. They would always automatically just put your system up front. Now the demographics is 25 to 65 and broad audience. The Instagram For Instagram, it's best for visual brand, lifestyle, fashion, food, and influencers. Oh, I'm very sure that we know this by now. I'm very sure that we know this by now. Kind of content for that is feed, stories, reels, IGTV, and shopping. Yes. Instagram is just basically for lifestyle. Once you are very good with lifestyle content, you've you've found your way. Like, just walk your way right through the Instagram platform. The demographics is 18 to 44 and visual focused. For LinkedIn, is B2B, professional services, recruitment, thought leaderships. The content here is articles, posts, videos, newsletters. The demographics is 25 to 55, then professionals. Yes. For LinkedIn, for LinkedIn, there was a particular meme I saw where somebody was like, the difference between LinkedIn is somebody will say, just an ordinary person will say, I killed a rat. Why for LinkedIn, they will come with one very broad write-up of, I have finally gotten to achieve the blah, 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 blah for, animal infections and all of that. Like just a normal, the way people on LinkedIn brush up their profiles, right? You think that they have like a lot of years of experiences, but that's not the case actually. It's just because they've been able to understand how LinkedIn works and they are working towards that kind of, metrics already for how LinkedIn works. So the kind of content that always do well for LinkedIn are articles, posts, videos, newsletter. Now, it's even content writing also it does very well for LinkedIn. There was something that somebody said one time. The person was like, the longer your post on LinkedIn, the more people that it gets to reach on LinkedIn. And that when somebody told me that, I was like, I understood that because anytime I scroll on LinkedIn, there's always one very lengthy post or the other. And I'm like, why? Do people really sit down to write all of this? So yeah. For TikTok, that's where everybody is currently. TikTok is where everybody is currently. The best, is for Gen Z, entertainment, viral trend, and authentic content. The kind of content that does well in TikToks are short videos, 15 to 60 seconds, trends and duet. The demographics is 16 to 34 and highly engaged. Very true. Everybody has one particular account on TikTok or the other because TikTok has become a platform that does very well. If you check for most of the music that we listen to, most of the music that we listen to or that we've downloaded is because we've heard it on TikTok several times to the extent the music is stuck at the back of our head that once we are going through our daily life, before we know, we end up singing it. It is stuck at the back of our head because TikTok is a very highly engaged platform that people are always on. Any trend or any news or any scandal that is going on, the first place that we always at the end of the day hear it from is TikTok, except you do not have a TikTok account and you are not, you are not very much active on TikTok accounts, except you are not highly active on that TikTok account. But if you are active on TikTok accounts and you follow, you are very much always on TikTok, you will see this kind of a thing. A lot of songs, a lot of trends, a lot of things. Even our so-called, parents nowadays, they are on TikTok because why? That's where they go to get real tea. Like they go there to get real tea. So it's always like that because everybody wants to have a TikTok account. For people to want to take you seriously, or let me use that, let me just, for brands to for people to want to take brands seriously, right, they would first of all have a TikTok account. Then when you go to their profile, you will see where they are saying follow the Instagram account. There's always their Instagram link attached to their TikTok account because a lot of, like, 90% out of 100 or 99.9 people in this world are on TikTok. So you have to be able to grasp their attention for they to say they want to go and check out other accounts. So, and just like it said here, TikToks are only for entertainment, viral trends, authentic content, and Gen Z. Yes, a lot of our Gen Zs are on TikTok. We are always on TikTok. So the content that does well is short videos, 15 to 60 seconds. Now, yes, that's why I said the first 3 to 5 seconds, if it doesn't catch my attention or if it doesn't catch a lot of people's attention, they don't see any reason watching the rest of your content. They don't see any reason watching the rest of your content. I think the kind of content that does well on TikTok is lifestyle. I'm sure that one or two. There are some of us that are following some um, lifestyle influencers or content creators. You see a day in the life of, those kind of contents. You see storytelling. Storytelling does very well on TikTok. Those kind of content. Now, for YouTube is tutorials, reviews, blogs, long form content, and education. The kind of content that does well in YouTube is long videos, shorts, live, communities. Demographics is all ages and video focused. For YouTube, that is where you see tutorial. You see that sometimes when you go to TikTok, people would show some tutorial on how to do a particular thing. Then they will say to watch the full video, go to my YouTube. Meaning, for me to want to go to your YouTube, that TikTok content has to be very intriguing and has to catch my attention so bad that I will have to go and search you on YouTube because I am so interested in that content. TikTok right now has to be one of the major platforms that people are willing to go to other platforms to get. People are willing to want to go to other platforms to get. There's a particular content I saw on TikTok today. I can't remember his name. But he's a very popular TikToker and influencer. I do remember his name, but he got married very early this year. So there was a particular video that he always does. So when he was doing it, and he posted about how people are supposed to come and listen to how one of his friends does this and does that. So he posted on his page by saying, so you have to click on the link to be able to register so that you can listen to this. Then a lot of people started complaining and saying that, oh, the link is not working, and he always reply everybody that complains by saying, go to my Instagram to go and check for a better link so that it can work from there. That's very smart. It's not as if he cannot redo the link or put a better link on TikTok, but because he needs to drive you people and he needs to drive people to his Instagram page, that is why he's saying that they should go to his Instagram to go and check the link there, because the link there is going to be working better. So this kind of thing, he thought about it. When 2 or 3 persons have come to complain about a particular link that is not working, it's very easy for you to say, okay, let me change the link on my TikTok. But he wanted to drive awareness to his Instagram, and that's why he said they should go to his Instagram. So for YouTube also, for me to be able to want to go and watch your videos on YouTube, your TikTok video has to be doing very well. Now, Twitter. Twitter is real-time updates, news, customer service, and conversations. The content there is tweets, threads, spaces, fleets. The demographics are 18 to 49, they're news-oriented. I'm sure that a lot of us have heard where people are saying that Twitter has to be the most brutal platform ever because people are willing to drag you to filth on Twitter or on X. Because what do you mean that a particular post can either make or break you on X? Yes, a particular post on Twitter can make or break you, and people are going to drag you to filth like there's no tomorrow. And you just be wondering, it was just a harmless comment, or it was just a lot of people are just even scared to even make a comment on X because it is band for band, it is aura for aura, it's egusi for egusi. So it's not even easy. It's not even easy at all on X, because if you are not mentally prepared for anything on X, just don't stress yourself. Just don't stress. Just focus on the platform that you are good at. Now, you cannot use all the platform for the brands you are working with. You have to just pick the platform that you know that you are good at, the platform that you know that works very well for you, that will give you peace of mind. Because you cannot tell me you want to go and post a particular content on X that is not doing very well. You wake up the next day and people are tearing you to shreds, and you just be wondering. And the owner of the brand will just come to a DM and say, this is not going well. This. As much as people are there's a lot of impressions and reach on the pages, but the fact that the only reviews that people are getting on that particular content is negative content is going to make you feel very restless and uncomfortable. And even the brand owner, they are minding their pages, would come to your DM to complain that we're getting just negative content. You don't want to be the reason why a particular company or a particular brand closes down because of negative comments. It's going to leave a bad impression on you moving forward as a social media content as a social media manager, because they will just post your face and be like this, they didn't do the job well, and people are very quick to make conclusions. They don't want to know the reason why this didn't go well. They will just place a conclusion on you. So X, you have to, that's why I said not all the platforms, it's not all the platforms that you are going to use. Just choose a platform that you are good at and you can work with, so that you will have peace of mind along with the brand that you are working with. Is that all right? Do we understand what I've been saying so far? Do we understand what I've been saying so far? Okay, thank you so much. Any questions with regards to the platforms? Any questions, any inputs, anything at all? You can just unmute your mic then introduce yourself, and you can just tell us the class we are listening. I want this to be an interactive class because I feel like I've been speaking for a long time. As much as I'm the tutor, I would also love to hear you guys' ideas and inputs also. I'm waiting. Anyone has anything to say? Okay. If we don't have anything to say,
Good
we'll just
afternoon.
move. Okay. Good afternoon. I can hear
Yeah, good
you.
afternoon, Coach. Well done. Though I joined a bit late, maybe like I think I joined around to 3. So maybe I'll watch the video then. Please, can we ask questions maybe later after watching the whole video?
No problem at all.
All right. All right. Well done. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Now, the last one that we are going to be focusing on today is the branding basics. That's the last subtopic for today. Then we'll continue the class tomorrow. Now, build a memorable brand identity. Brand logo, design principle, simple, memorable, scalable, timeless. Format needed, PNG, transparent, SVG, scalable, and favicon. Usable guidelines, clear space, minimum size, color variation. The brand tone, the emotional quality of your brand communication. How do you want people to feel when they react to you? Friendly, professional, casual, authoritative. Brand name, memorable, easy to recall and spell. Uniqueness, stand out from competitors. Relevant, reflect your business and industry. Available, check domain and trademark. The brand voice, the consistent personality and style in all written communication. Your brand's unique way of speaking. Key elements, vocabulary, sentence structure, humor level, and formality. Yes, branding basics. It's very important that even you as a social media manager should have a personal brand. I think I had a write-up about that on LinkedIn. Having a personal brand is very important. Now, for the brand you're working with, branding basics is also very important. You have to now designing your your the logo or any of that. If you as a social media manager knows how to do that, by all means, by all means, by all means. That's why I said that it's just like a total package. It's just like a total package. Now, the format needed when you want to have all this kind of even documents, even the format needed, it's always going to be PNG, transparent. It's always going to be PNG and transparent. So that kind of format that is needed. The excuse me, the usable guidelines, it has to be a clear space, minimum size, and color variations. Now, the color variations now for the kind of brands that you're working with, they always have a specific color. You know, like Zenith Bank has a specific color that has to be in their logo all the time. You know, UBA, those kind of brands they have, you know, BUA Cement, you know, they have all these kind of things. Nestle, Cadbury, they have a particular color that they are working with. Now, those color now is copyrighted to them. They cannot go and use another color. Like they can't take another person's color because this color is now their own and it is well known as their own. You cannot use it's just like even we as a country, our color or our logo is green, white, green. We can't go and use USA color for ourselves because it's going to be a problem. So anything that has to do with Nigeria, that has any logo or any kind of design that the person, the graphic designer is going to be designing, green, white, green has to be there to show that this is a Nigerian's post. Okay, now the brand name, the kind of brand name that should be used when, even though you want to even start up a fresh brand, if you want to start off a fresh brand, kind of brand name that should be used should be easy to recall and spell. Should be easy to recall and spell. And even if you want to abbreviate it, when they ask for the full meaning of the abbreviation, it has to also be easy to recall and spell. It has to also be easy to recall and spell. So even with the abbreviation, it has to be something that is very easy when you are explaining or telling them that this is the kind of brand that I work with. It has to be very easy to recall and spell. The uniqueness, it has to stand out from competitors. It doesn't have to be the same thing with, you know, sometimes when you want to create a new brand or when you want to even write your name, or for example now, when you have an account on TikTok and you want to open a new account, right? The first thing they're going to ask is for your username for opening your new account. If your username tallies with somebody else's own, it's going to be written there that this username has already been used. So it has to be different. You have to look for username that is different, that stands out, that is not the same. Right. Now, the relevance, it has to reflect your business and industry. It has to reflect the business of the brand you are working with, or you know, in the industry to which you are. It has to be clearly stated that okay, this is a lip gloss business, or this is a perfume business, or this is a skincare business, or this is a jewelry business. You know, it has to reflect, it has to show, it has to be visible that this is what this business is about. Now, available, you have to check domain and trademark. Yes, please, please. You have to make sure that you check your domain and trademark. Your brand tone now, the emotional quality of your brand's communication, how you want people to feel when they interact with you. Yes. Now, how you want people to feel when they interact with you. Now, also this also goes for your content. That's why I said earlier that you know people might not want to um listen or see a very serious content all the time. Sometimes it's very okay to spice it up. Sometimes there's a particular content I saw where there's a particular content I saw. It was a very reputable company. Oh, I'm so sorry, but I can't recall right now. Like even at the end of it, at the end of the content, the company wrote that it is okay to have fun. It is okay to spice things up. And I was so, you know, I was so proud and I was so happy that I could see that when I meet a reputable company now, it's a very popular company that we all know. I'm just so sorry that I can't recall right now, but they also even are aware that more life self is already so hard for us to come and posting very serious content all the time. Sometimes spice it up, and the content was actually very funny. It was a very funny content, yet they're still passing their message about what they want about their particular company. So yes, how do you want your content to be? You want it to be friendly, you want it to be professional, you want it to be casual, you want it to be authoritative. Yes, so it depends on how you figured out how the things are. Now your brand voice, which is the consistent personality and style in all written communication. your brand unique way of speaking. Key elements, vocabulary, sentence structure, humor, level, and formality. Yes, 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 please. As a social media manager handling a particular brand, you have to have very good vocabulary. You have to make sure that you're speaking very well. Your sentence structure should be very well and in alignment, because you see people, when they say it should not be perfect, as a social media manager, nobody is perfect, though, but the brand you are managing should be perfect. The brand you are managing should show your perfection, because people are very quick to picking out mistakes from the content that you've made. People are very quick from picking out mistakes from the content that you made. And it is very okay, because, as we are not perfect human beings, but let it not be a continuous and repetitive thing that your content always has mistakes. It will just show that you're not put together. It will show that you're not put together. So that should not be the case. Even if they have to be a mistake, it should not be something that has to be continuous. It should just be a once in a blue moon. You have to be careful enough to go through your content, look at everything before you post it. And the way you reply to such comments that, okay, you made a mistake on this, or the way you reply is very important. It's very important, because nobody likes a rude person. So you have to make sure that you are able to reply as polite as possible. Yes, sometimes there are some people that are, they really want to get on your nerves and all that, but you are being the professional here, so you just have to reply as polite as possible, acknowledge that you've seen their complaints, and find the solution to their complaints. So it's going to be as professional as possible. Like I said earlier, people are ready and willing to drag you to filth, and you don't want to leave a bad impression on a company, or you don't want to be this why a company folds up as a social media manager. Okay, so that is all for today's class. So I'm listening. Do we have any question? Do you have anything that I want to ask? Do we have any question? Because that's all for today. That's all we are going to go through, for just like an introduction for today. Okay. Once again, I would like to thank you all so much for joining today's class. I would like to thank you for your patience, for your time you used in joining the class. I really, really, really appreciate. And it's very nice, whereby I like the fact that we're all interacting and some of us had some things to say. It was really nice. And I would really suggest that the next class we come, very open-minded, and we come in a way that people are going to want to, speak to us. So you're very much welcome. You're very much welcome. Thank you so much. So I would want the social media, the project management manager, that's Modupe, to take it from here.
Oh, thank you very much for today's lesson, Ruth. And we are very grateful to everybody that joined. Ruth will be holding this class same time tomorrow, 2 p.m. tomorrow. And after tomorrow's class, please log in on your Google Classroom app, and you will see some projects that Ruth are going to post there for you to try on. Their assignments, Ruth is going to be marking them, and she will be scoring them, which you will be able to see on the platform. Thank you very much, everybody. I wish you a happy weekend. Thank you very much, Ruth. I hope to see every one of us here tomorrow, open-minded, with a lot of questions, and of course, a very interactive class like we had today. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.